From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, you can't fire me, I quit. I'm kidding. Can I come back, please? The portal. It's a crazy, crazy world, everybody. Wake Up Warchant is presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. Daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily weekdays for only $8.99. On Fridays, try their chicken strip basket, hand-breaded, served with a dipping sauce, or tossed in a sauce of your choosing. Again, only $8.99 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. today at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Always live music going down on a Friday. Always great times going on over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on a weekend. Darts, billiards, friends, libations, do it. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com. That's the website. You can always get your QR code on your screen. It'll take you right there as well. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code WarChampBOGO. It's still going strong. BOGO. That's how you spell BOGO. Buy one, get one free when you go to VitaminEnergy.com. 7 hours of pure, unadulterated energy. Probably even more. No sugar crash. Non-GMO. Kosher certified. Made in America. It's delicious. It'll get you going throughout your day, whether you're working hard at the office, working hard in the gym, or just working hard being a mom or a dad. Give it a shot. Shake it and take it. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code is WarChantBOGO, B-O-G-O. WarChant.com, Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Corey Clark, 5-star ratings and reviews. We would appreciate Corey joining us from the epicenter of the world currently, I guess. Apparently a Janet Jackson concert, Taylor Swift concert, Hawks taking on the Seas on Thursday. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule living in the big city to hang out with us, man.
I'm telling you, man, the Braves had a game on Thursday. Yeah. Janet Jackson was supposed to play on Thursday, but that got pushed back to Friday because the Hawks won on game game 5 to force a game 6. So that stunned everyone, and Janet Jackson had to move to Friday, which is also the same time as Taylor Swift at the Dome. Yeah. And they are, for the people that don't know, they are, I would guess, 2,000 yards away. The Dome and the in Phillips Arena. So there's going to be Janet Jackson fans and a whole bunch of Taylor Swift fans in downtown Atlanta on Friday night. And then Saturday night and Sunday night, too, because Taylor Swift is playing 3 shows. All right, but I'm not there. I'm not going. I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not going.
All right, let's get to it then, Corey. Quick timeline chronology, or actually before we get to the chronology, the bottom line here is that Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle from Gadsden County, is still with the Florida State Seminoles. Tweeted out his intentions at 6:09 p.m. yesterday, Thursday, that he indeed is going to stay at Florida State. He has been, I can't even find the right word, but he's been added back to the roster, so everything good on that front. But just to kind of go through it all again here, Corey, on Tuesday he tweets out that he intends to enter the portal, and then on Thursday afternoon around 1:30 p.m., his name is removed from the Florida State roster. And then we actually confirmed through On3 that he has entered his name into the portal. And then at 6:09 p.m., he tweets out a message that says, Corey, I know the last 48 hours have been extremely challenging after talking with my family and loved ones. I know that Florida State is home and always will be. I believe in this team and the family we have. I want to be a part of helping the program get to where I know we can go and to give all I have in making that happen. #family, #keep climbing. How did you react when did you roll your eyes? Did you laugh? How did you react when you saw that indeed Joshua Farmer is part of the Florida State football program still?
Yeah, I mean, I chuckled. It wasn't a hearty chuckle, but it was a chuckle with a bit of not an eye roll, but a kind of like a shrug, like, okay, this is just what we live. This is what it's going to be like until something changes with the parameters of this. And I mean, this is what it's going to be like the last 3 or 4 days before the window closes. Like for the foreseeable future. Now, I don't know when the window closes in December of this year, but it's going to be what we've experienced the last 3 or 4 days on steroids in December when this happens again. Again, you're going to have people, not only is there the draft that people declare for, but they can just enter their name in the portal. And I feel like you're going to have a lot of, hokey pokeying. He puts his name in, he takes his name out in the portal for every school. Every big-time school is going to be dealing with this for the foreseeable future until there's a handle on this somehow. But in the immediate, speaking just about the Florida State 2023 football team, now look, April 30th is still a few days away, folks. Who knows? Don't start counting chickens yet. But we're assuming now Josh Farmer stays. That's a nice piece.
It is.
You didn't think a day ago you didn't think you were going to have, because that does now give you at least 3 and probably 4, depending on Darrell Jackson's future with the waiver. Good to really good defensive tackles. Maybe great. I don't know. Maybe Braden Fisk is going to be great. Maybe Josh Farmer's about to take a late leap to be great. That was a nice moment for Florida State on Thursday for him to tweet that. We don't know the machinations behind it, folks, but we know what you're thinking. Whatever it took for him to change his mind, talking it over with his family and loved ones, sure. I'm sure that had something to do with it. I'm not saying it didn't, not dismissing it. There's probably some other stuff going on too, but either way, whatever it took, he is back in the fold, and that's good news for Florida State.
I feel like this window is going to be crazier, though, Corey, because this is the last stop before the season, right? At least like in December, you might be like, well, I'll give spring a shot. I'll give off-season conditioning a shot, see how everything works out. But like I feel like this, I'm hoping this is kind of the peak of the insanity of guys coming in and out, right? Because it seems that's this is if you got to make up your mind now. There's no turning back now at this point when it comes to this upcoming season.
Well, yeah, I just think more people make up their mind in December. I just think there are more people in the portal then. I just feel like whenever that window opened, it was it was a tsunami. It was a flood. And this is felt more like I don't know, man, not a trickle. It's been more substantial than that. But it's just, I think the people that are transferring in December typically, and this is only on a year or two experience and a year or two sample size. They seem to be more impactful and better players and more coveted than the people that transfer in April.
Fair.
Would you agree with that?
Yes,
I think that
absolutely.
seems like that's played out. So I think that's why that thing in December is going to feel even more. You're just going to be holding. But you're right. Like say next December comes, Josh Farmer has a great year, and then he's not going. He decides he's not going to go pro. He says he's coming back. Well, great. All right, so he's on the team. And again, I'm using Josh Farmer as an example because the last 48 hours. Sorry, Josh, but that comes with the territory. But so he stays on the team. He announces he's coming back for his redshirt junior year, which everybody will be excited about. But that doesn't mean in April he can't change his mind. So the thing with December is it's not the final nail. April 30th, if you're on the roster and you have not put your name in the portal, as far as I know, there's not much you can do
unless you're a grad unless you're a grad transfer.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what makes April it's more there's more finality to it.
Yes.
But I feel like December there's more impact, more impactful players in it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of manage your emotions, everybody. It was crazy to see all the angst. And I understand it. You got loyalty to a school, you folks listening to this, and then you see a guy, quote unquote, turn his back, and then things kind of settle in. So it's kind of hard to manage this. But it's kind of how recruiting's always been. Like you really couldn't get too upset on a kid for decommitting or taking a visit somewhere else. This is kind of on steroids because you've already seen them. They're already in your locker room. You kind of probably feel that they have a little bit more of loyalty to you. But Corey, when last time we talked, it was kind of our belief, at least anecdotally here, man, like you cannot get into this kind of revisionist state of staying, leaving, contracts, NIL stuff, which I'm not anti-NIL. Name, image, and likeness. You want to go sign autographs? You got a jersey? Like, yes. All this other stuff is bizarre. Man, is there any concern that they have now – the genie's out of the bottle in terms of guys wanting to renegotiate or, they want lines of communication to remain open because they've seen a player have a foot out the door, now he returns, and there's probably things behind that they want a piece of.
Look, again, this is pure speculation. We don't know if a dollar amount went up at all. We don't know what Josh Farmer's dollar amount is. And if we did, I don't know that we would be at liberty to tell you guys anyway. But
I'd tell you if I knew everybody, but I don't know.
right.
Sorry.
But, yes, of course. I mean, this is the what business is going to be now because, and again, theoretically, hypothetically, there could be a player on the Florida State team that's very good that just saw the Josh Farmer saga. And is probably thinking to himself, man, he might have gotten an extra bag out of this. He might have bumped up his asking price, and they answered. So why don't I do that? I've got 3 days left to do that. To see it, I can threaten to put my name in the portal. But this is not just a Florida State specific thing. And again, that is pure speculation. I don't know what they offered Josh Farmer. I don't know if it's anywhere close to what other guys are getting anyway, or what those conversations were. Yeah. But this is in a broader scope, not just Florida State specific. This is the issue with what is happening right now in college football. It is free agency every year for every player. Imagine the NFL if it was like that. I mean, it would be absolute chaos. But the difference is the NFL has strict salary caps, so you can only get so much. And they have scales. Third-year guy can only make this much. A fifth-year guy can only make this much. Your first contract, your second contract, you can get franchised. In college football, it is literally day-to-day, month-to-month, game-to-game. Prices can go up, and players can just leave. And this is a multi-billion-dollar business where all the coaches are getting all this money. And the TV money is astronomical. They have to figure out a way just for the not the sanctity, the sanity. That's the better word. Yes. The sanity of the sport. You have to figure out a way where if a kid commits and signs a contract with you, which I assume all these guys that you care about have signed contracts, they are multi-year and they are bulletproof, where they cannot leave without
ramifications, man.
And not even ramifications. Like, write a contract where they're not allowed to make money at any other school. Period. And if they break that contract, sue them. Like, that's what it's going to come down to. And it's going to. I mean, you have to. Yeah. This is a business now, man, and this is real money on the line. And look, man, we've all kicked aside the premise of amateur athletics when it comes to college football. So with that in mind, you have to start treating this like a business, and you have to treat this like real contract. And you have to start, the collectives, all of them, have to start hammering home, in my opinion, contracts that are multi-year. Because if you can do it in the NFL, you can do it with college football players. There's no need not to. Like,
I just feel like but at this point we start getting to they're not employees, then you're going to become employees, and then you've got, collective bargaining agreements and things like that. Because, they can, in the NFL or the NBA, they can make you sit, like, all right, yeah, we're paying you, but you're not playing for us. We're going to make you sit. You can't go anywhere else. You can't leave the Hawks and go play for the Celtics. But like, if you do that now to these kids, that's like being cruel. Like, you can't make Darrell Jackson just sit here and not play.
But people have non-compete clauses all the time. This is life.
I know, but they're not employees, Corey. These are amateur athletes, quote unquote. That's how they're still viewed through the prism of the sport right now.
Clearly, that's the next step, right? And that you can't. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is what's going on now is preposterous. I love college football. Florida State has benefited more than anyone from the transfer portal. It's awesome. NIL is great at Florida State, clearly.
Yeah.
But this is preposterous. This is a absolute asinine way for a multi-billion-dollar business to do business. Yeah. To just the complete unknown of not knowing who's on your roster, the complete unknown of one guy in Colorado bringing 70 new players in. With no repercussions and no ramifications, this has to be like at some point the people that matter in this sport will come together and drive for a change. Where, again, I'm not trying to take any money out of anybody's hand. I want them to get paid what they're worth. I promise you. But it can't be bidding wars after every game and every season. Imagine Pat Mahomes after his second year being a free agent. With no salary cap, this is what that is. There's no salary cap and there's no contracts, but they're getting paid. Some of these guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe up to $1 million or $2 million. I don't know what Caleb Williams is getting, but that. So these collectives, God love them, they're doing the Lord's work. They just to protect themselves, and so you're not dealing with this all the time. There has to be some way to, and yes, you're right. I guess they have to be employees. I mean, I think you could write contracts in a way if you're a collective where you're like you cannot work with any other collective in the country and make money for in any other city in the country or on any other campus. I think you could write that into the contract. And I think if Josh Farmer signs that, and then next year he wants to transfer to Fayetteville and go play for Arkansas, he knows, okay, go for it. You can't make any money. And if you do, we're going to sue you. I don't know how else to do it. But anyway, the point is Josh Farmer's back at Florida State. Great news for the Noles. It really is. That's a huge boost to that defensive line. That takes them out of the market for defensive tackles, clearly. They're good. They're set.
Yes.
Like now Daniel Lyons and Dennis Briggs are like 5th and 6th on the depth chart. You are certainly set there. But safety, buddy, get going. Get going.
Major League Baseball finally back in full swing. The NBA playoffs going on strong. MyBookie is your one-stop shop for all your betting needs with a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, futures. MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. Take advantage of the brand new MyBookie Money Bag. It gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely boosted odds. This is what you got to do. You sign up at mybookie.ag. Promo code, you got one. It's called Warchant. Put that in there. You'll get a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit like $100, and you'll get cash deposit bonus into your account just by using the promo code Warchant. So if you're a baseball fan, hoops fan, looking for more excitement for the new season, look no further than MyBookie. Let's see here. Tonight, let's get the Warriors. We'll give out 7 points. I feel halfway decent about that. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. I don't know if it was even 30 minutes after Joshua Farmer tweeted out his intentions of staying, but Omarion Duke Cooper followed up later on Thursday evening by tweeting out that he is going to, or actually, I shouldn't say he didn't tweet out, but he is in the portal. We were able to confirm that. So Duke Cooper, who kind of came onto the scene last half of the 2021 season, played really well, struggled most of last year. Think he was a little bit banged up. We saw him get nicked up in preseason camp. Kind of does you talk to people 72 hours ago, like, I love Duke Cooper. He moved positions to do the best thing he could for this program. Joshua Farmer's ungrateful. Now the roles, how the turntables. So Duke Cooper leaves. He played at safety this entire spring, and the bummer about this, I think, Corey, is say what you will about Duke Cooper and his talent and what he would have been able to bring to the safety position. I don't know if they saw this one coming, and I'm not trying to poke anything at the staff and point blame at this, Corey, but man, it would have been nice to maybe have Quindarius Jones play a little bit of safety, because I think they felt, I don't know, really though, I'm thinking about it, saying it out loud, could they really have felt good about what they had at safety? I like Shaheem. You feel all right about Akeem, and then you got Travis J. Who knows? You had Duke there to help out. Man, it sure would have been nice to maybe have Azarie, for example, or Quindarius be able to do a little bit more cross-training, because I don't remember or recall really seeing them cross-train a lot, those positions. Now Duke Cooper leaves. You've got Shaheem, who is a boatload of potential. You have Akeem, who remains an adequate average college player thus far in his career, and then true freshmen that are possibly coming, with this enrolled class. Not looking good at safety, but it's imperative, and Michael Langston said as much, Corey, that is the absolute number one point of emphasis for the staff right now when it comes to the portal is safety.
I was thinking about this as I was showering. That's a good image for all you guys. Sudsing up and taking my time, letting the steam.
On those guns.
Oh yeah, I bathe a lot longer now because I get to feel the muscles more.
Right.
Kind of. Anyway, so I bathe. I'm not gonna. Never mind. Scratch that joke that I was about to make. Nope. I'll tell you when we're done what that joke was going to be.
Right.
But I was thinking about it. Kind of what's happening at safety is clearly a priority. But does it not remind you a little bit of what I said last year when it came to looking for a quarterback in the portal? That you weren't going to go get a starter, like a surefire star, because they didn't know that they would have. Number one, they wouldn't probably transfer, but they also didn't know, they didn't want to go to a place that already had a returning starter in Jordan Travis. So what kind of player that had the experience and talent that you wanted to compete for the starting job would leave a place to come to Florida State where he was not guaranteed to be a starter? And that clearly would have been the case with any quarterback that transferred in last year.
Right.
Well, aren't we there with safety too? Like, I know Shaheem Brown hasn't proven much at this level, but Akeem Dent's played a lot of football. And Shaheem Brown, they clearly like him. So, I wonder what you tell a potential safety when they ask about playing time.
Yeah, I mean, they're chasing after something really big here. I know they're still building stuff. I think last year, you're a quarterback position, like you're building around that is your cornerstone. It's a lot more different to kind of manage the expectation there to bring somebody in to hold that clipboard. But man, at safety, you cannot look at somebody who's produced. I know it's film versus what you've seen with your own eyes day in and day out at practice. But, man, if there's a guy in that portal that has produced, and, for example, there's a kid from UAB that's in the portal, Jalen Key. Apparently he's from Tallahassee. He went to Godby. He started most of the season last year for UAB, played in over 520 reps. He graded out 72.9. I'm pretty sure that's higher than anything Akeem has graded out at in his career. Now, granted, much different level of competition. I get your point, but I think you give a guy, he's got every chance to play safety. I mean, you come in here, we're giving you the playbook before you get to campus. You're going to go through player run practices. Our strength staff's going to get you good to go. And, man, when you show up in Jacksonville at UNF for camp or whatever, like, we're giving you every chance to be on that field and make an impact for us. So I think they can really sell it. I don't, and if you're the father, the mother, the grandpa, the uncle, the aunt, you're not that scared of that depth chart, are you, Corey? You're not like, man,
absolutely
Shaheem,
not.
Akeem,
No, absolutely not. And you will be promised a chance to compete for a starting spot, and you will absolutely have a chance. It's just not a surefire. Okay, I'm definitely gonna start there. There are other schools around the country where you would go in and start. That's not the case.
Top 10 team though, top 10 preseason
right.
team.
No, you're right. I mean, that's the allure. That's the appeal of Florida State. Is number one, they're going to be top 10. No matter what, you're going to probably play against LSU on national TV. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the appeal of it. The downside is you might be transferring to a place where you don't start. You don't get a starting spot, and you're coming in behind because you're going to be behind two guys that have been in the system for 2 years, 2+ years, 3+ years with Akeem. So you will have to work for it. But yes, I just wonder. So there's a kid I'm looking at right now. I went to folks. You should do this too. It's pretty cool. The on3.com has the transfer portal, and you can go to best available for all the positions. So I'm looking. So you talked about Jalen Key, right?
Right.
From UAB, a Godby kid.
Yes.
Well, the number one safety in the portal is a kid named Antonio Carter. He's a redshirt sophomore from Oak Ridge in Orlando, Florida, who played at, I think it's Rhode Island.
Okay.
It might be Rhode Island. And he entered the portal 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And right now it has him between Georgia Tech and Middle Tennessee. But On3 has him as the number one safety in the portal.
He started all 12 games last year for Rhode Island, graded out at 76. Year prior, he graded out at 71.8. 6'1", 200.
Don't they have that D tackle for Rhode Island, the big kid? Didn't they get somebody from Rhode Island, I thought? Like, who's the big...
he walked on.
Yeah.
He did a quick story on the young man.
Yeah.
97. His name escapes me.
Yeah, but either way, he's from Rhode Island. So my point being...
Dylan Brown. Boom, there it is.
Got it. Nailed it. The number one safety in the country is from Rhode Island. And I don't know how many teams have offered him. And again, it's not an exact science when I say the number one safety in the country. The number one available transfer portal safety. So it's not the biggest pond you're fishing from here, but he's from Orlando. He was at Rhode Island, started there, and is looking to play. So that seems like a possibility. The kid from Tallahassee clearly seems like a possibility. And going down to number 8, the number 8 safety available, Aslan, is from Hallandale, Florida. And he's also from South Carolina, which, look, that's all I'm saying. This just seems like a natural fit. Anthony Rose, what are you even waiting on? What are you even waiting on, A-Train? Like, you should already be on the way to Tallahassee. You've seen what happens with these South Carolina kids, and his safeties in particular. So there are some names out there that you that are appealing, that have Florida ties, that are also available. I think we all agree you need to get somebody, because right now you are going into the 2023 season with Akeem Dent, who's started a bunch, Shaheem Brown, who's played a good bit but has never really been a starter, Travis Jay, we don't know what his status is, and even if he was completely healthy, which he was not in the spring, as they talked about, we don't know how good he is. And then nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody else is true freshmen. You have a chance to do something special this season, and I think safety now, especially with, and look, I probably would be saying this anyway if Duke Cooper was still on the team, but at least Duke Cooper had played a bunch of football for you. Yeah. None of these other people have. Travis Jay hasn't played a meaningful snap in 2 years plus, and then obviously Shaheem and Akeem. But what if one of those twists his ankle? Is KJ Kirkland going to be the starting safety against LSU or Clemson? Right. So yes, I think safety is by far the number one priority right now. I just wonder if I think it could be an easy sell. That's just me being the cynic or glass half full pessimist. Is like, all right, but it's not quite the sell of like to a defensive tackle that knows he's going to play a lot. This is a guy that you have to beat out two dudes that have been here for a while. And we both think Shaheem's going to be a player.
Yes.
So you might have to go and beat out Akeem Dent, who's a former 5-star and has been here for 4 or 5 years and has played a whole bunch of football. So, but yes, safety is now the prime position of need.
Yeah, man, I was trying to look and see how they kind of split up the reps. I mean, Akeem started every game last year, and I mean, golly, I mean, Wake Forest, he played 71 reps. He played 75 against Louisville, 7 against NC State. Second half of the year, though, it was pared down. He didn't play more than 40 reps from the second half.
But Shaheem did, right? Shaheem was getting more and more reps. I think it was Shaheem and Jamie both played at the same time a good bit. I also think Akeem might have been a little banged up the second half of the season.
Yeah, Shaheem played 59 against Florida, 69 against Oklahoma, but prior to that did not play more than 38 snaps.
Yeah, but he became kind of a quasi-starter there at the end of the year.
Right.
And he's not, I think he can play. And I know Akeem can at least be solid. But, man, you after that, buddy, that is as thin as it gets for a position on a top 10 football team. That is absolutely as thin as it gets. But like we talked about, there's safeties out there. There's safeties out there that you have probably a decent chance with if you want to go get them.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the fact that if you're in the portal, you're unhappy to a certain degree. And then, man, to be the number 3 guy at worst, probably. I mean, let's be honest. Whoever transfers in here, some of those names that we listed with their amount of reps that they've had, they're probably going to come in ahead of Travis Jay when they start preseason camp. And then you're one bad ankle roll away from being, in the starting lineup. And shoot, man, they'll probably rotate you in here looking at the way they integrated Shaheem towards the end of the season. So. I don't think it's going to be. It won't be a hard sell. The problem, though, Corey, I think it's like there's not that elite. There's not a Fentrell Cypress. There isn't an all-conference guy that's out there right now, and there's only 2 days left for that guy to surface.
Right. Yeah, but I guess an all-conference guy you would go ahead and make that put. But what I would worry about is, say there is a Fentrell Cypress type safety out there that you go and get. Well, then the portal's still open for a few days, so. Maybe Akeem Dent's like, all right, well, screw this. Yeah. That's what you have to deal with. That's the roster management that all these colleges are having to deal with now. So in a perfect world, the kid enters his name like on the 30th, and then you don't claim him until the May 2nd. Then you're like, sorry, Shaheem, you can't go anywhere. I mean, you can, but you can't play next year. So yeah, something like that. But I think you're right. I think that I also think that I think the prospect of being in the top 3 of the safety rotation on a top 10 team when you're coming from like a UAB or a Rhode Island, just to use those 2 kids as an example, is probably pretty appealing. Plus, Fuller and Norvell and Surtain can show them, look how many snaps our 3 safeties played. Yeah. Like we play a lot of guys, and we might use you as a nickel sometimes. We might use you close to the line of scrimmage. We're going to blitz you some. We might see you in a Jamie Robinson role. Look how we did. Like we might move Shaheem to more of a Jamie Robinson role and have 2 safeties behind him. Like you will be on the field a good bit. So I think that is something they can sell, but they need to get to selling, because by the time You wonder by the time we reconvene for Monday's show, will they have a safety? Will they have added anyone in the preceding 3 days, and will one of those guys be a safety? Because I think we all agree that is now number one priority, and I don't even think anything else is close.
Yeah, that's going to be, and that might be a little too fast of a turnaround, but hopefully they get somebody down here to at least maybe visit this weekend. But again, the portal closes on the 30th in terms of submitting your name to go into the portal if you're an underclassman and you don't have your degree. But once you're in the portal, you can be recruited and you can commit in May and June, so that this window does stay open. And back to Travis Jay real quick. The last game that he played was Miami 2021. That was 531 days ago, in case you're wondering. So, and I know everyone is like, hey, man, Duke Cooper left, Travis Jay stayed. I love Travis Jay. It'd be a great story, but, man, we're coming to the page in the book where, like, we need some action before we put the book down and pick another one up. So
I want to say this, too, just to give people some perspective on what the prospects are like. So I just looked up, I'm on the On3 site again. I'm just looking up edge rushers, like the best available edge defensive ends out there. Yep. There is a kid from, looks like ULM, Anthony Campbell, from Bartow, Florida.
Let's go.
I think that's where Odell Higgins is from.
Yeah, man. Correct.
Come on, man. But it said, according to them, it's between South Florida and Miami, but we'll see. He entered 10 days ago. But he's the number 2 defensive end available. So you're like, okay, man, that would be awesome if the number 2 defensive end available. Just for some perspective, though, and I'm not trying to kill the kid. He might end up being awesome. But their number 9 defensive end available on the On3 transfer portal rankings right now is Chambray Jackson. So just throwing that out there.
I guess it goes back to your point full circle. Like December, you get difference makers in December. And then in this cycle, you kind of get depth
pieces. Yeah, you get depth pieces. I think no, that's not a hard and fast rule. There can be examples, but yes, I think you get the Jeremiah Byerses in December. You get the Jasden Turnentines later than that. And Jasden was a nice player for Florida State. And he was a nice player. Yeah. He wasn't a star. He was a depth piece that ended up being a really important piece for Florida State.
They still have Joshua Farmer. My heart just dropped there. Like I went to defensive line instead of hitting edge, and they still had Joshua Farmer listed on there. So hopefully by the time you folks are listening to this, he is not listed on that sheet. But we know that he's staying. He's tweeted out as much. And by the way, Duke Cooper actually did tweet out a farewell. It was very nice. He expressed gratitude towards Coach Norvell and Coach Fuller on giving me an opportunity and experience throughout my career that I'll never forget. Yeah, it was a very nice message. So he does say, though, to respect his decision. So we shall respect his decision. Mm-hmm. Amari Gaynor replied with a sheep emoji and eyeballs because he's in North Carolina, and I guess they
I was going to say, what does that mean? Oh, he's trying to convince him to come. That's right. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
The sheep's actually got like horns on it. It's not a goat. It's like a legit. Wow, UNC's got. We need a. You think Florida State, with all of our juice, all of our fans, all the YouTube impressions, all the FSU Twitterati.
I know where you're going.
Can we get a spear from the? I mean, do these people that code and not notice, like, wow, there's a huge amount of use for the shish kebab. We've got all these different kinds of food, but man, people love the shish kebab. It's because we're trying to use it for a spear. Give us a spear.
It's not that hard to get a spear, right?
Yeah, you got it.
They have knives, right, and swords.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, you should have a flaming spear. Isn't that hard to find? I don't think.
A lot of his teammates expressing love in the replies too, so that's kind of good to see. We'll see how that.
Well, and remember, both Surtain and Fuller talked about, and it wasn't coach speak, how coachable he is and how much they like coaching him, and he does deserve credit for making the switch. Maybe at heart he just feels like he's a corner. And he wants to go try that again, and he doesn't think he's going to get a chance to really start with Renardo and Cypress, and then obviously Greedy's still around, Jarian Jones is still around. There's a better chance for him to go make an impact at the position he grew up playing. I would think is maybe the thought process there. It's just for the depth purposes of safety, it's a bit of a hit.
You want an alternate headline there, Corey? I didn't know this. I heard it on the recruiting chat. Apparently, Duke Cooper's high school coach is on staff in Boulder, Colorado. So there's that.
I mean, all right. I know. So Derek McClendon's in Colorado.
Brendan Gant too. We forgot to mention him the other day.
Colorado.
Love you, BG.
And maybe Amarion Cooper goes to Colorado. it's not like, and I'm not trying to jinx it. We'll knock on some wood.
Well, they said they were cutting these guys, so they're not good enough, and then like you're going and getting these guys. That sounded like a jerk. That was rude. I'm sorry.
But I mean, McClendon's a starter. He's a college football starter-ish player, but he's not special. Clearly, Cooper and Brendan Gant were struggling to get on the field at Florida State. So, man, good luck. I hope they shine out there and have a good. But those aren't. They're not the Travis Hunter transfers that they started with. But again, he's got to flip a roster. I don't quite understand when you think about it. Why in the world Derek McClendon would rather play football in Boulder, Colorado, for a first-year coach that I can promise you did not know his name until a week ago, as opposed to the guys that have coached him for 3 years. And with the teammates he grew up, he went from one of the worst teams in the country to a top 10 team. I don't know why you wouldn't want to ride that as a potential starter. It's certainly a contributor. You'd rather go take a shot in Boulder, Colorado, but these are the choices we make in life, and I do hope it works out for him. That's not sarcasm. I do hope it works out for him, but it's a really, sometimes we'll see. The grass isn't always greener, man. It's certainly snowier. It's certainly whiter out there, Derek. And you're a Georgia kid like me. Good luck. Maybe you like skiing. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Jeff Cameron Show 1 to 3 o'clock. Baseball back at it. Link and the boys at his old stomping grounds. They'll be taking on Notre Dame this weekend. Game 1 tonight, 6 p.m. against the Irish.
It's kind of cool, too, that the Florida State softball team's up there as well.
Oh,
playing Notre Dame. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? That's kind of a – so I only know that because I should know that because it's my job, but I was watching the Link interview from Thursday, and he talked about how it was going to be senior day for the Notre Dame softball team. And I was like, I wonder who they're playing, because Ristano, the pitching coach, his wife was the coach there for 17 years, Lizzie. Yeah. So she's going to – I assume the way Link was talking, she's going to be up there too. And it's going to be senior day with a bunch of players that she recruited. So that adds even another layer to how weird and unique, and he must have said unique 15 times in that interview, about them going back to South Bend this weekend. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, who are they playing? I wanted to make sure it was their last home series. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Florida State. So that's that can't happen a lot, can it? No, that the Florida State baseball and softball team are on the same campus at the same time? That's
I wonder if they're sharing a plane.
They weren't. Because Lonnie tweeted out a photo on the plane, and I was like, okay. I started looking for Carry On and Cameron Smith and Tibbs, and it looked like just the softball team. Huh. So maybe they get maybe they're in the other part of the plane, but yeah, it seems like to save money, you could all have been on the same plane, but it didn't look like that happened. But either way, I trust that the softball team will take care of business in South Bend. I do not trust that the baseball team will, but they can surprise us. And I did think, I wrote a story that's up on the site, or will be by the time people read this, about Link going back up there. And I thought those were interesting comments about just how unique it's going to be back in that stadium again as an opposing coach.
I like how he pointed out, too, that he's like, I made that place, that turf, the graphics, but that was me.
I liked it too. Link is a different dude. It's funny, but he's like, he's kind of like, I'm responsible for the turf, the graphics, the cages, the dugouts. It's like, all right, Link, all right. I recruited that whole team. Yeah. He said that too, which is true. Like everybody on that roster, except for maybe a handful, all were there because of Link and Link's coaching staff recruiting them to Notre Dame, and they just happened to stay true to their commitment. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Notre Dame's not great, but they're not terrible. They're not as good as they were last year, but they still have a winning record, and they're 11-10 in the conference. So maybe Florida State can miracle a win or two up there.
By my shoddy math, they're 3 games out from making it to the ACC tournament. So each Coastal Atlantic winner gets into the ACC tournament, and then the 10 best teams, regardless of division, make it based on their conference winning percentage. And Florida State's dead last right now with, I think, 3 or 5 conference wins maybe. And then there's 3 teams ahead of them with 8. So he was asked about whether that's a goal or not. They're not peeling off pieces of clothing off of a mannequin or anything like, a la Major League to get a magic number in there. But I like how he's like, you want to be in a place where you have to win Game 3 in Omaha. But we're at the point right now where every game we step on the field, we have to win. So
yes, that's true. That's true. He said they need to start playing championship level caliber baseball.
Yeah.
And it needs to start now.
Let's go.
All right, man.
Also, congratulations. Speaking of Lonnie, softball team on Wednesday night took out Florida for the fourth straight time with a 5-3 win, so they are primed and rolling per usual. So.
And that crowd, man, I wonder if they're going to get – they must not get mad. I don't think they get mad that so many people watch from the grassy knoll and the deck.
Right.
But I bet you're talking about 500 people that are watching from the deck and outside the paying customers. Jimbo would have put up a black fence that you couldn't see through 5 years ago. But I think Lonnie really does it's a cool atmosphere. It's a really neat atmosphere. So I guess they'll stay with it and not make those people have to pay, which I'm cool with.
Make that parking garage dorms, and that'd be cool, like a Wrigley Field feel, with
I see you. That's right. Yeah, they're sunbathing. I gotcha.
Watching the
drinking a few
team.
brews. People are drinking a few brews up there, but yeah, you're right. I gotcha. It'd be cool to have them out on their balconies.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap for us. Sprung into action there. Thanks, Corey. Good idea to get together and let everybody know what's going on. So again, if you're you haven't been paying attention all that much, Joshua Farmer still a Florida State Seminole. Omarion Cooper in the portal. As that changes. Check out warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. It's only $29.99 for full premium access. Ira doing great reporting behind the scenes on everything that's been going on. You'd know all this if you're a member, a subscriber. Check out the premium recruiting board. We have an interview with B.J. Gibson, which I didn't get to ask him about the baseball, Corey. I'm sorry because the interview cut off. He dropped out. But next time
Wilcox County. Yeah. It's Wilcox County. What are you going to do?
It's bad weather, man, the southeast. So hopefully, if you folks are in the Panhandle, hopefully everything worked out well, man. Somebody sent me a photo from Lynn Haven of, golf ball-sized hail. It got crazy out there. So hopefully everybody's safe and no insurance adjusters need to be involved. That, though, is a wrap for us. We'll be back Monday. It's been Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. He's Corey Amazon. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, everybody.